Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome back to the Jeshua Channelings by Pamela Kribbe. And if you are following along with me in the book, I am on page 127, Pitfalls on the Way to Becoming a Healer. Dear friends, it is with great pleasure and happiness that I bid you welcome in this place where you have gathered to hear me, an old friend of yours. I am Jeshua. I have been among you in my life on earth as Jesus. I have been human, and I know of all that you go through as human beings in an earthly body and in an earthly life. And I've come here to help you understand who you are. All of you who are present here, and many among you who will read this text later on, are light workers. You are angels of light who have forgotten who you really are. You all have gone through many trials on your journey on earth throughout your many earthly lifetimes. And I know these trials come from within. You have now come to a point in your soul's history at which you are completing a cycle of lifetimes. Now imagine you're me, and I had always felt that whatever was happening on earth, this was my last. I held it at first as my last chance to get it right, because I was still kind of lost in that religion thing of trying to be perfect, like Christ, and to then hear this from the being who inhabited that consciousness. I don't know, it just did something of a validation for me. Back to the book here. At this point, you are more and more connecting to the greater self that you really are, the self that is independent of time and space. You are in the process of allowing your greater immaterial self into your earthly being, into your everyday life. You still find it hard to keep a steady connection to your greater or higher self because you have forgotten that you truly are this great source of light yourself. Nevertheless, you have all started the journey within, and along this journey, you have felt the desire, even the calling, to help others on their way to inner growth and self awareness. It is natural, especially for light workers, to want to share your insights and experiences with others. You are all born teachers and healers. From the moment you take it upon yourself to guide others as a teacher or a healer, you are likely to stumble upon a number of pitfalls. These pitfalls are the result of certain miscomprehensions about what it means to guide someone spiritually. They follow from misconceptions about the nature of healing and your part in it as a healer. It is about these pitfalls that I would like to speak today. What is healing? What is the essence of healing? What happens when someone, quote, gets well? Whether it is on the psychological, emotional, or physical level, what happens is that this person is able to connect again to his or her own inner light, to his or her own greater self. This connection has a healing effect upon all the layers of the self, the emotional, the physical, and mental levels. What every person is looking for in a healer or teacher is an energy space enables them to reconnect to their inner light, the part of them that knows and understands. The teacher or healer is able to offer this space because they have already made this connection within. The healer has a frequency at their disposal, an energetic vibration, which holds the solution to their client's problem. To be a healer or teacher means to carry the energetic frequency of the solution in your energy field and to offer it to someone else. That's what it is, nothing else. Basically, it is a process that can take place without words or actions. It is the energy itself that you have as a teacher or healer, which has the healing effect. It is your enlightened energy that opens up the possibility for someone else to, quote, remember what they already know, to connect to their inner light, to her intuition. It is this remembrance, this connection that makes the healing happen. All healing is self-healing. To heal or teach, then, has in fact nothing to do with specific skills or specific knowledge that can be learned from books or by taking courses. Healing power cannot be acquired by something external. It is about the frequency of the solution that is present within your own energy field as a result of your own inner growth and clarity of consciousness. Often, as a teacher and healer, you are still involved in personal growth processes. Yet, there are parts of your energy field that have become so clear and pure that they can have a healing effect upon others. It is essential to understand that this effect is not something you have to work hard for. It is the client who decides whether or not to assimilate the energy you offer, whether to allow it in. It is the client's choice. You offer it by who you are, by, quote, being there for the other. It is not by the skills or the knowledge you have learned from anyone else that you have a healing influence. From anyone else that you have a healing influence, but purely by who you are, the inner road you have traveled. It is especially in the area of problems that you have gone through yourself at a deep emotional level that you can truly help others. And I find simply by sharing my experiences, not by telling others how to go about things or what to do. Most of what we would say, in my view, would be misunderstood anyway, because of, the experiential filter each one of us carry. And apparently my computer totally agrees. All of my computer and my phone at the same time. Usually that does not happen. Your light in these areas shines like a beacon to people who are still stuck in these issues, beckoning them gently to get out of them. In the areas where you have healed yourself from deep-seated hurts and wounds, you have become a true master, someone whose wisdom is based on inner knowing and genuine experience. Self-healing, taking responsibility for your inner wounds and enveloping them in the light of your consciousness, is the key to becoming a teacher and healer. It is the ability to heal yourself that makes you a light worker. This creates the, quote, energy of solution in your being, which offers to others a doorway to their own power of self-healing. When you are treating clients or helping people in your environment, you often, quote, read their energy. You intuitively tune into them when you listen to them, give them advice, or treat them with energetic healing methods. However, the client or person you are working with is just as busy, quote, reading you. Just like you are tuning into their energy, they are consciously or subconsciously absorbing your energy. They intuitively feel whether or not what you say and do is in accordance with all of you, whether it is matched by what you radiate, your energy vibration. They feel who you are apart from your words and actions. It is in the reading of you by the client that the real breakthrough occurs. When the client feels free and safe in your presence, when they feel surrounded by a type of consciousness that empowers them to trust their own inner knowing, then everything you say or do takes on a healing quality. When your words and actions are backed up by who you are, they become the carriers of light and love that can take the client into the core of their own light and love. Whether someone honestly asks you for help, whenever someone honestly asks you for help, this person is open to your energy in such a way that they can be touched by the purest and clearest part of you. This part of you does not stem from the books you read or the skills you have learned. It is the result of a personal alchemy, a personal transformation of consciousness that bears your unique hallmark. This is what I mean when I refer to if you go to where you are drawn, to whom you are drawn to. There is a reason for that. Sometimes it's not a very easy reason to look at or to contemplate, but there is a reason depending on what you're feeling when this happens. But this is what I suspect is meant by this. I would like to strongly emphasize this, as there seems to be a tendency among light workers, or people who by their nature feel a strong urge to help others, to keep searching for a new book, a new method, a new ability that can help one be a better teacher or healer. True healing is simple. When I lived on Earth, I conveyed a certain energy with my eyes. Something flowed out of my eyes that had an immediate healing effect on the people who were open to it. This was no magic trick or some unique skill I owned. I was in touch with my inner source of truth. I naturally radiated the divine light and love that were my heritage, just like they are your heritage. And I touched other living beings with it. It is the same with you. You are no different from me. You have walked the same inner road and gone through the same trials and sorrows to eventually get to the same point as I did when I lived on earth. You are all becoming conscious, Christed beings. The Christ energy is your spiritual destiny, and you are gradually integrating this energy into your day-to-day existence. It is the Christ within you who heals and teaches as a natural consequence of who the Christ energy is. Too often, you still identify yourself with being the apprentice or the pupil who sits at the feet of a teacher and listens and asks and searches. But I am telling you that the time of being a pupil is over. It is time to claim your mastership. It is time to trust the Christ within and to bring this energy to manifestation in your everyday reality. To become one with the Christ within and to teach and heal from that energy, you need to let go of a number of things. These things represent the pitfalls on the road to becoming a healer teacher. I will differentiate among three areas in which these pitfalls occur. The pitfall of the head. The first pitfall lies in the area of the head or the mind. You are very adept at analyzing things and categorizing them according to some general frame of reference. And I'll pause here to say that you can think of that as your upbringing, your conditioning, your programming, everything you've ever been taught to believe is true. A lot of which, for me, I have found is not quite exactly the truth, at least not in the way it was explained to me. And certainly a lot of it just doesn't hold any kind of weight. So I'm going to read this one again. This first pitfall lies in the area of the head or the mind. You are very adept at analyzing things and categorizing them according to some general frame of reference. This might be handy in some circumstances, but in general, the mental thinking part of you is very much a part of the world of duality. It is the part of us that has been programmed and conditioned to believe certain things, not all of which are completely the full 100% unvarnished truth of the way things are. With the quote world of duality, I mean a type of consciousness that divides things into good or bad, light or dark, healthy or sick, masculine or feminine, friend or foe, etc. It is a type of consciousness that loves to separate and label, that does not recognize the underlying unity of all phenomena. That's that programming and conditioning that I talked about. It is a type of consciousness that likes to work with general principles and a rational, objective application to individual cases. It does not really consider the possibility of another, much more direct approach to reality, the approach of intuitive knowing, or knowing by feeling. The Christ energy is outside of duality. The Christ energy constitutes the flow of being that underlies all polarities. But the mind does not recognize the very existence of this mystical level of oneness. The mind would like to split up the ocean of being into definable parts. And if you look at it, we can see that manifesting out in the whole. Think of, for those of you that are around my age or older, how there used to be one doctor, a general practitioner. Now all of a sudden there was all these specialities. And I just saw a lady post the other day on Facebook, how can I find a primary care doctor that won't shuffle me off to some specialist for everything? I want somebody to look at the whole of me, right? And that's something we don't do anymore. The more things are compartmentalized or specialized, the less the whole is considered. So I'm going to read that again. The mind would like to split up the ocean of being into definable parts, categorizing it in such a way that it can get a rational grip on it, because that's what we were taught too. The mind likes to design structures, theories that can be placed over reality, over direct experience. Again, this is sometimes useful and beneficial, especially in practical manners, but not so much when it comes to true healing and teaching. For example, healing and teaching from the heart. When you approach your client from a theoretical framework, you try to place their individual symptoms into a general category, but you look to the theory to find out about this type of problem and the solutions to it. This is what you learn when you are trained to be a psychologist, a social worker, or any type of professional counselor. I'm not saying that all of this is wrong, but what I would like to ask of you is this. When you are working with someone, whether professionally or in your personal life, try to let go of all your thoughts and reasoning, all of your presumptions about what is the matter with the other, and simply listen from your heart. Tune into the other person's energy from a silent place within. Try to just feel with your heart and intuition where the other is standing, what it feels like to be in their inner world. Often you foster a lot of ideas about what someone else needs to do to solve their problems. You analyze their problem and you think up the answer to it. You may even be largely right in your thinking, but the point is your ideas are not necessarily attuned to the energy of the other person in the now moment. You might be completely out of touch with how they actually feel inside. Your help is only fruitful when it is attuned to the energetic reality of the one you are helping. It might be that he or she needs a wholly different approach than you can fathom with your rational mind. I invite you to see and feel the other person purely from the still, intuitive place inside you. Allow yourself to transcend duality and to be filled with the compassion of the Christ within. I invite you to really be inspired by the presence of the other when you offer them teaching and healing. The solution is then often very simple. What is needed from you is not your knowledge, but your wisdom. What is asked of you is not your judgment, but your compassion and deep understanding. You are not there to provide the solution, not to be the not blah. You're not there to provide the solution, to be the face of authority. You are there to be the face of love. Let us turn to an example to illustrate this issue. Take parents who want to help their children with problems they encounter. And now I know what this note is about. I wrote, this is huge for parents if they can actually take it in. And I know, I know that it's tough. Believe me, I know that. So take parents who want to help their children with problems they encounter. Due to their experience, parents can often make better assessments of the consequences of certain action of their children. Let's see, wait a minute, I read that wrong. Due to their experience, parents can often make better assessments of the consequences of certain actions than their children can. On the basis of this knowledge, parents often warn their children. They want to save them from harm, and they advise them to do what they think is the right thing to do. This might seem to be a good way of helping from the mind's point of view. And in some cases, it is very reasonable to do so. However, very often, if a parent would tune into the child from a silent, intuitive place inside, the parent would find out that what the child truly needs from them is something else entirely. What the child often needs most is the trust and reassurance of the parent. Trust me. Let me be who I am. Let me make mistakes. Let me stumble and keep your faith in me. That was a quote. I should have said, quote, trust me. Let me be who I am. Let me make mistakes. Let me stumble and keep your faith in me. End quote. When you connect to your child from a place of trust, you are in fact encouraging them to rely on their own intuition. This may help them make a decision that feels good to them and that is understandable from your point of view as well. If, however, you try to make your child do something from the notion that, quote, you know better, your child will sense distrust in your attitude, and this will cause them to resist you even more. Children, quote, read you when you offer them assistance. It is in the nature of children to be keenly aware of the emotions behind your words. They can sense your underlying fear or judgment. I think everybody can, actually. That was really shown to me in a huge way personally. So I have to say, I don't think we hide how we feel about anything. You can walk around thinking you're hiding, but it's a frequency and people know. And if they don't actually know right here, they know. They will often react to this emotion instead of to your words, and when they react with aversion they seem utterly unreasonable. However, the parent may be acting, quote, too reasonable, meaning that they do not recognize their own underlying emotions and are not trying to connect to the child in an open and honest way. To do so, the parent will have to let go of their preconceived notions and really open up to the emotional reality of the child. From genuinely listening to the cares and concerns of the child, a bridge of communication can be built. I mention this example because it is so common and easy to relate to, and because we all know how difficult it is to support your children from an attitude of trust and openness. It is all about letting go of your ideas of, quote, what should be, your wishes and desires, and truly letting the other person be. To envelop someone else with a space of oneness and true heartfelt understanding is to offer real healing power to someone. Often, what really helps the other is your total acceptance of how things are. I have to share with you that is so true. And it was not, the minute I read that, I was reminded where that is then for me to set boundaries. If I don't want to be exposed to how things are, that's why boundaries are so important. It is when you are not trying to change something from the level of the mind that you truly connect to someone and open up the doorway to love and compassion for them. The pitfall of the heart. The second pitfall you come across when you endeavor to be a teacher and healer is in the area of the heart. The heart is a meeting point of many energies. The heart center or chakra forms the bridge between heaven and earth, and between the higher and the lower energy centers or chakras. The heart, quote, collects energies of a different origin and is able to recognize the underlying unity. The heart enables you to transcend duality and reach out to someone else with love and compassion. The heart is the seat of your ability to tune into someone else's energy and to feel what it is like to be that person. It is the center of empathy. Clearly, then, the heart plays an important part in any form of spiritual teaching or healing. Many of you are natural empaths. You have a natural inclination to sense moods and energies from other people. This ability serves you greatly when you work with people. However, there is an important pitfall connected to this ability as well. Your sensitivity towards other people's energy may be so strong that you may find it hard to distinguish between your own emotions and the emotions of someone else. Sometimes you absorb the other person's energy so strongly that you lose your sense of self. Being a projector, I think that is absolutely true. In the human design way of looking at self, I'm what is called a projector, and I really do think that's a huge true statement here. You may want to help someone else so much, especially since you know how they are feeling, that your energies get mixed up and you start to carry burdens that are not your own. When this happens, an imbalance occurs. You are giving too much. You overstep your boundaries when you let yourself be carried away by the suffering of someone else and go out of your way to help them. The suffering you give, the energy you give too much of will turn against you. This extra energy goes out to the other person but does not contribute to the solution of their problem. The client may be unable to integrate or receive this energy, or they may be frightened by it, or it may simply go unnoticed by them. I've had every one of those things occur. You will end up feeling tired, annoyed, and frustrated. You can tell when you are giving too much by signals your body and your emotions are sending out to you. Whenever you feel empty, frustrated, or heavy after you've seen a client or tried to help someone generally, this indicates that you have been trying too hard. When you offer teaching and healing from a balanced, centered standpoint, you feel free, alive, and inspired. After the meeting with someone has ended, you easily draw back your energy and touch base with yourself. You let go of the other person, and no cords or strings keep lingering between your energy fields. If an energy link remains with the other person because you so dearly want him or her to get well or be happy, that link has a destructive effect on your energy. By staying preoccupied with the client, you will absorb their emotional energies too strongly. You will give of yourself to alleviate their burden. And this is where the emotional dependence goes both ways, comes into being between the two of you. You will give of yourself to alleviate their burden, and this is where an emotional dependence, which goes both ways, comes into being between the two of you. The client starts to lean upon you, and your well being will become dependent on their well being. This entanglement of energies is not helpful to the client and is depleting to you. This Why does this happen so easily when you start to help people? Why is this pitfall so difficult to avoid, especially for light workers? Where does this painfully strong need come from to heal and make whole and to make the world a better place? In part, this natural desire in you is explained by your soul history, as related in the Lightworker series, which is part one of this book. You have an inner mission to bring teaching and healing to this world. But the tendency to give, quote, give too much stems from a pain in yourself that you are not totally aware of. This pain makes you over eager in giving. There is a pain and sadness in your heart that makes you want to reach out for a new way of being, a level of consciousness more attuned to the natural divinity of all that lives. You are homesick for a more loving and peaceful reality on earth. In your present incarnation, you have not come to explore the ways of the ego. You are tired and weary of that. You have come to answer an ancient song of your soul. You have come to help restore peace, joy, respect, and connectedness on earth. Your emotional body has been scarred by many lifetimes in which you endeavored to bring down the light of your soul and you encountered resistance and rejection. You have come here with great reservations, and at the same time, the old flower of passion has not withered within you. You are here again. But now, due to the pain that you carry within, you are like delicate and sensitive flowers who need a strong foundation in order to flourish and grow. The foundation you all need is a firm sense of being grounded to earth and centered in yourself. By being grounded, I mean that you need to have roots into the earth, to be aware of how earth reality works, to know what the elements are that you have to deal with while living in a physical body. Sometimes you are so enamored with the spiritual that you forget to take good care of yourself and your body. You get, quote, spaced out or too idealistic and unreal. You would often like to transcend earth reality, but it is only, quote, through the earth, by feeling at home and at ease with the element of earth, that your soul energy can bloom here. By centeredness, I mean that you need to be true to your own feelings, to your own sense of what is right for you. As a human being, you have an ego or an individual personality that separates you from others. The ego serves a valuable function. It enables you to focus your specific soul energy into material reality. You do not want to give up your individuality to any kind of, quote, greater good. You are not here to eliminate your ego. You are here to let the light of your soul shine through your ego. You need your ego to manifest your energy outwardly. I never could understand all the spiritual people saying you had to kill the ego. As I always intuitively knew my ego was my personality. I kind of like who I am right now. So I've spent a lot of time in my life not liking who I am. I was going to say, I've come this far and now I find out I was supposed to kill the ego. What? What the hell is that? Because of the pain you carry in your souls, because of your weariness of the old, Because you want to reach out to the promised land of the new earth, you can become ungrounded and lose your centeredness. You tend to push change where the situation is not yet ready. Or you try to awaken people at a pace that is faster than they can handle. Now, that is so totally me. I actually saw, Lisa helped me see how I actually pushed somebody over the edge one time. I mean, her eyes started glazing over, and I didn't see it before I saw it. You become, quote, overeager in giving. This eagerness may take the form of great involvement with a good cause or of caring intensively for the well being of others. But there is an impatience and restlessness at the heart of it. You may feel inspired for a time, passionate and involved, but you will be disappointed at some point, and then you will feel exhausted and angry because you have depleted your energy resources. Wonder if that's part of what I was going through this past, well, really the whole year. The pitfall of the heart, the pitfall of giving too much, stems from not accepting reality as it is. There is an impatience and a restlessness in you, which makes it difficult for you to let go. It makes it difficult for you to keep the right emotional distance from the people you are trying to help or the causes you are involved in. You are teachers and healers. You do have a mission on earth, but to truly fulfill it, you paradoxically need to let go of that dire need to change things because your eagerness to do so has an edge of pain to it. The pain of not feeling at home on earth as it is now. True spiritual change always starts from a foundation of acceptance. To truly become the teacher and healer you want to be, you need to embrace your own pain and heal it. You need to find peace with your own deepest emotions of fear and anger. If you do, you will find out that the urgent need to give to others or to be involved in a quote good cause makes place for a very quiet feeling of peace and acceptance. This is when your radiance truly gets a healing quality to it. Letting go of other people's pain and trials and completely allowing them the time and space to go through their own process may give you inner pain. This is because it brings you right back to your own loneliness. Now, I can really get behind this, especially if you have adult children and for me, I know that I contributed to the programming and conditioning that I'm witnessing in him at this juncture of my life because I see it in myself and now I see what I installed right there in him. So all of this applies to me in such a huge, huge way, and it does cause some inner pain. And as parent, you do naturally, in some ways, want to try to fix it. But this is for him to suss out, to work through, to move through. I'm going to read that again. This is because it brings you right back to your own loneliness and the sense of being lost in this earthly reality. The difference between this harsh and imperfect world and the reality you dream of, so much more pure and beautiful than this one, hurts you deep inside. It is your challenge to not run away from this hurt, to let it enter your awareness fully, and to spread your angel wings around it. Once you recognize your eagerness to help or fight for a good cause and become aware of the hidden pain in there, the part of not accepting reality as it is, you can start to let go of it. And I know for me, knowing that each chooses their own brand of suffering until they need not that suffering no longer has been a very helpful thing for me. As soon as you realize that your eagerness and impatience come from an inner pain and sadness, you can stop giving too much. You can focus on yourself and find ways to really be at peace with who you are. You can truly start to give to yourself. This is when you become a fully grounded and centered light worker, accepting of yourself and others. The only proper thing to do as a light worker is to make your energy available to others. You teach and heal by radiating the energy of solution that is present in your own energy field. Often you draw people to you with exactly the type of problems that you have gone through yourself. That's why I've always said anyone who feels to work with me, whether it be through a BQH session or a reading or a consultation, anything like that, anyone drawn to work with me, there's a reason. And if I feel drawn to work with you, there's something that together we can work through. And and it's just as helpful for me as it is for you, which is why I personally don't charge for anything. I want it to be a reciprocal exchange. And that for me, that's the only way forward. You have gone to the bottom of these issues yourself, and therefore, in these areas, you have reached a knowingness and purity that have become part of your being. These are the enlightened parts of you. They are sacred and inviolable and cannot be lost. They are not built from learned knowledge that you can forget about. What you have to offer to others is not some tool or theory. It is you, transformed by life, experience, and the courage to face your inner wounds. The quote, light work that you have to do in this regard will come to you without effort. It will be something that feels very natural to you. To find your mission, the thing you are, quote, meant to do in life, you only need to be aware of what you truly long for and do the things you feel inspired to do. I feel the same way. When you do so, you will put your energy out into the world, and others will be touched and inspired by it, sometimes in ways you may not even be aware of. There's no more to be done, really. This is the light work you came to do. Light workers who know the balance between giving and receiving will have more peace and enjoyment in their lives, and therefore will radiate the quote frequency of the solution even more fluently from their energy fields. They are sensitive and empathic, but they have a clear sense of their personal boundaries as well. They allow themselves to just as easily receive as to give. And in that way, both the flow of giving and the flow of receiving will become stronger in their lives. The pitfall of the will. Now, I would like to discuss one more pitfall on the way to becoming a healer teacher. I have mentioned, bear with me just a moment. I feel like I got gunk on my lips and I can never stand that. Mm, there we go. Sorry about that. Now, I would like to discuss one more pitfall on the way to becoming a healer teacher. I've mentioned one pitfall in the area of the head and one in the area of the heart, and I would like to finish with the pitfall of the will. The will can be localized in the solar plexus, a center of energy near the stomach. This center or chakra steers the ability to act, to manifest your inner energy outward on the physical earthly plane. When the will is connected to your intuition, the quiet part of you that transcends duality, things will flow easily and effortlessly in your life. You will act from an inner sense of trust and knowing. When your solar plexus, which is also the center of the ego, is guided by the heart, you generally do the things you love to do, and you feel joyful and inspired most of the time. The will, or ego, has then become the extension of the Christ within. Often, however, when you try to help or guide others, you get out of touch with this flow. There is a part of you that wants to do too much. It seeks to achieve results by forcing or pushing things a little, even if your intuition tells you to let go or back off. And I've recognized that in myself as part of programming and conditioning too. Got to go out, make it happen, get it. Often it is your personal ego that craves visible results here. This has nothing to do with helping others. It has to do with a need for validation that you have, an insecurity which gets you out of touch with the natural flow of healing, which is often slower and more unpredictable than you wish it to be. I was just sitting here asking myself, okay, so what have I been doing? Because it feels more slower and unpredictable. And then my phone dinged, so that's interesting. You do too much when you feel like you are working very hard and your input is not really received or appreciated by others, which is another reason why I think there's a whole lot in this for me today. Also, when you have separated yourself from the natural flow of things, you often get distracted by outside judgments. You tend to rely on other people's ideas and expectations and are afraid to fail in their eyes. The key to regaining your strength is to not do anything and to become really quiet within. That is partially what I feel like I was doing. It is only when you connect to your heart again that you can tune into the situation from a quiet and neutral space. Then your fear and insecurity disappear into a background, and you can truly focus on what your client needs from you. Often you do not need to do so much for him or her. You are first and foremost asked to be with them and to offer them the energy of solution in a simple and direct way. You need to trust the power of your presence, even when you do or say nothing. Dare to be in that silent space when you are with someone. When you trust yourself, you will know in that moment what the appropriate thing to say or do is. Remember that often when it comes to offering guidance, less is more. Letting go is love. Overcoming the pitfalls I described above always involves a type of letting go. It is about letting go of thinking too much, letting go of identifying too much emotionally, and letting go of excessive use of the will. If you let all that go, however, and surrender to that most wise and compassionate part of you, you will find deep joy and fulfillment in your quote work as a teacher and healer. As the light workers that you are, you will experience a deep sense of self realization and freedom. In being a teacher and healer, in whatever way you express it, you feel connected to the whole, to the oneness that underlies all that is. Feeling part of this, quote, fabric of spirit and playing your natural part in it make you feel like you are truly accomplishing your mission. Meditation. This is an exercise that may help you get in touch with the issues mentioned in the channeling in a more direct emotional way. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Focus your attention on the muscles of your shoulders and neck and release any tightness or tension there. Do the same with the muscles of your abdomen, your arms, your legs. Then travel with your consciousness to your feet and feel your connection to Earth. Feel how Earth is carrying you and providing you with the security you need. Take a couple of easy breaths from your abdomen. Now, let your imagination take you back to a moment in time when you felt very down and unhappy. Take whatever situation comes up first. Go with it. Think again of that time in the past, of how you felt inside. Then go to the energy of the solution. Ask yourself, how did I get out of this? What helped me most of all? The energy that helped you the most may have come from yourself or from someone else. That doesn't matter. Just consider the kind of energy that lifted you from the lowest point. Now let go of the past and think of someone in the present who is dear to you and who you have some concerns about. Maybe your partner or your child or a colleague or a friend. Let that person appear to you in your imagination and really take in their presence. Then ask, how can I help you? What would be the most valuable thing I could do for you? Then listen with your heart. What is the other person showing you or saying to you? Feel the answer. Just allow it to come to you. Let go and focus your attention on your feet again, to your breathing, and return to the present. The goal of this exercise is to become aware of what is truly helpful in a situation of emotional crisis or pain. This may be quite different from what you think is helpful. Wow. Well, that's the end of this chapter, and I'll be coming back in just a bit with letting go of your birth family. So thank you for tuning in. I hope that you are enjoying this book. I certainly am in the rereading and re-recording of it. I hope that until we meet again, you will continue to move towards that which you are drawn. Continue to move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. Until we meet again, be well, my friends.